Good morning, guys. Today is Thursday, July 13th. As usual, we'll be going over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. So yesterday the only trade that I'd sent out yesterday is this gold trade. So I'm still holding this gold trade. So the reason I'm holding this gold trade, let me turn off the high-low plus trend indicator to reduce the noise, even the others. So the major reason I'm holding this trade, even if I take this off, is this daily bearish high right here around 1960. And you can see that 1960 is acting as a magnet for gold. Now, news did drop after news was released, did drop close to 70% profit. But for me nowadays, I either do TP or stop loss. The only red flag or maybe early closure for this trade, you can see this high right here. When during news, gold wicked up to 1964 and wicked all the way back down. So 1964 is a critical area such that if we do close above this high, maybe it's time to close out this trade. But daily bearish or daily order blocks rarely come up. So that's one major reason why I'm holding onto this gold sell. The other reason is if you turn on the zones indicator, you can see we have heavy sellers right here. And one thing we know, we normally don't buy and sell just based off of knowing there's sellers or buyers there. So if there are sellers here, ask yourself, what can they use to bring price down? So they have a daily bearish order block. So as much as the buyers, we have buyers here and they have a 30-minute and 15-minute bullish order block, the daily order block overrides all of that. And actually, if I'm not wrong, I think I'm scaled into this position, or I will scale in a bit later if we close below the 200 EMA. But anyway, for me, my bias is still a sell on gold. If you look at the hourly time frame, we have gold is stuck in between these two trend lines. So this first trend line we drew yesterday from this high low connecting these three lower high lows. Also, we have this trend line to the upside from this lower low and then to this higher high. You can also draw it from this lower low if you want. Again, it would still be the same one. But remember, trend lines should always connect from one point of structure to another. If you have like three like this, not every time will a trend line exactly connect to the pip of all three points of structure. So if you have three like this and you cannot connect 1, 2, and 3, connect 1 and 3. Again, you don't want your trend lines to break through candles, which is the reason why yesterday I explained I did not want to draw this trend line from this high low to these others because it would break in between these two heavy candles here. But my analysis for gold is it should drop to around 1942 area. So you also ask yourself, what's around this area with the trend line? 1942 area, yes, we do have a daily bearish low, but we also have a 4-hour bullish high. So for me, the target on gold is 1942. This is the best area I do see to buy gold for long term. So if it does come to 1942 area, what we would expect is if it comes back up, it can break through this trend line and possibly continue higher. But if gold comes to 1942, breaks and closes below, and this is on the hourly time frame, and retests and closes below, we are going below 1900 area. So 1942 for me is the decisive factor on gold's next move. But for right now, this is the trade I'm in for gold right now. EU. So yesterday I got stopped out of EU. I entered the EU short based off of the reversal on the 5-minute. Unfortunately, I got stopped out of that trade. So if I remember correctly, this is the sell I entered on EU yesterday. Right here, short position, somewhere around there. Had a 50 pip TP and stop loss. 50 pip TP and stop loss. Unfortunately, I got stopped out of that position. So right with the strategy for the reversal indicator, that strategy is if you get stopped out of, you start on the 5-minute time frame. If you get stopped out of, you can see number 6, first entry on the 5-minute time frame. If you get stopped out, don't revenge trade, because if I revenge traded again, I would be in drawdown. So right now, I'm still waiting for a reversal on EU, and I'm waiting for the sell entry on the 15-minute time frame. Now, given the day of the week it is, so today is Thursday, and last Thursday, I told you guys, you want to avoid entering trades like on Friday. So not to say you can't trade on Friday, but for Friday, one thing we know about Fridays is that they are known to either have a nice reversal or a deep continuation. So today, if I do get the reversal on EU, I'll wait for the sell entry on EU, and these are my parameters right here. Since this is an FX pair, this should be 20. I'm also testing out, I'm not sure, I think we can do everything, the breakout pips as 50 for everything, whether it's US 30 and FX pairs, but I'm still testing that out. But anyway, by default, if this is an FX pair, this is 20. If it's US 30 or gold, this should be 50. Since this is the 15-minute time frame, this should be, the delay should be 1. The 5, 15, and probably 30 delay should be 1. So I am waiting for a sell entry to pop up on the reversal indicator for EU based off of these parameters. And once that comes up, I will be shorting EU. So I got stopped, I only lost like 1%. When I entered this trade, I might enter with a 2% risk this time in order to recover that loss. But other than that, if we look at what we have on EU yesterday broke this trend line. And if we look at even the order blocks we have, right, there is nothing above where EU is right now. We do have a 15-minute bullish high and low. And if we turn on the zones indicator, you can see we just have buyers for EU. These sellers right here, I think they were from actually just yesterday. About yesterday. But you can see we're also in a premium zone for EU. But EU right now has nothing but buyers. So EU right now is heavily bullish. So there's nothing to even trade, in my opinion, for EU. For me, I'll just wait for the 15-minute. Again, if I get stopped out on the reverse on the 15-minute time frame, move to the 30-minute. And the odds of you getting stopped out for 5, 15, and 30 all the way to 1 hour, ideally near to none. But anyway, if I were to get stopped out of the 15-minute, and we'll see if we get that entry during the live session. US 30, currently I am in a sell for US 30. The reason I'm in a sell, I did mention yesterday, same thing with the reversal indicator. I did mention I was looking for a sell entry based off of the reversal indicator for US 30. So nowadays, pretty much all the entries I enter are based off of my indicators. So this is the sell entry I entered yesterday because we had our area of interest here. Then we had the 500 pip threshold, which US 30 did meet. And then I did enter that sell right here. For US 30, 200 pips TP, 200 pips stop loss. Right now, price is a bit in drawdown. The other thing to look at for US 30, if you look at the crosses indicator, soon on the 15-minute time frame, we are about to have a death cross on the 15. So all these buys, I mean, the 9 EMA and 200 EMA are a bit far from each other, but I would be cautious entering this buys at this point. And given the strategy for the crosses indicator is that you take the first 3 to 4 buys, including the original cross. And if you did that, let me bring up those requirements right here. If you did that on this, you would have won 1 buy TP, second buy full TP, third buy full TP, fourth buy full TP. And for me, these are the entries I enter with 1% risk for each trade. So I definitely traded all this, the first 4 buys, and I was up 4% for that trade. So as much as the 5th, 6th, 7th buys would have also hit full TP, you really don't want to keep pushing it. So you can see eventually at some point, the 9 EMA will start coming back to the 200 EMA, and this will form a death cross. So I think US 30 right now is getting exhausted, but not to say that it can still keep pushing up. We've had an instance where 24 back-to-back buys on US30 hit TP. So until we get proper confirmation right here, this buys can still go ahead and hit full TP. But that's why for me, I have like a 200 pip TP and stop loss on this. Also, the other reason I entered this sell on US30, there was this trend line to the upside, right? So which is why I'd circled this. So normally how I trade trend lines, you wait for the break of a trend line, and then you want the next candle to retest and close below or above, depending on what direction you're looking at. So this candle right here, close below this trend line, and then we had the next candle break and close below. And that's another reason why I entered that sell on US30. Also, you can see we have another trend line to the upside, which has been broken, but price is still trending back up. So this might be a trade. If it doesn't hit TP today, I think tomorrow we have PPI or maybe Monday, but this is another trade. So I didn't send this trade in the group, but I just analyzed it for you guys yesterday. So remember, I don't send every single trade that I take. Yeah, but for right now, only trade I'm in is gold, and I'm actually in with some heavy lots. So I'm looking for this to hit TP. Any questions from anyone? If you guys are on the live session, right, for right now, feel free to enter gold and US30, but just use proper risk management. I would say for me, if I were to classify it, gold has a higher probability because we have a daily bearish high. US30, looking around what we have for US30, this is what I was looking for yesterday, right? The 4-hour bearish high, because this is the pattern I'd drawn for you guys right here yesterday. So again, this is still my best sell area for US30, 34,380, because if we turn on the zones indicator, let's first turn off the high-low plus trend to eliminate noise and everything. You can see right now we do have buyers in the market, right? But ask yourself, as much as we have buyers, what can these buyers use to push price up? So they can't really, there's a 30-minute bullish high, but it's next to a 4-hour bearish high. So process of elimination, 30-minute bullish order blocks by themselves or bearish order blocks by themselves do not hold that much weight. So for me, this is still the area I'm looking at for US30. Because if we do get another closure and retest below this 4-hour bearish high. So remember yesterday there were some sellers, just a small strip of sellers around here. But right now you can see we don't have any sellers around that region. But if we do close again, break and close below 34,376, I do expect US30 to push down. And the next area to stop for US30 is this trend line around 34,100, or also this 200 DMA on the hourly time frame, 34,141. And if we look at what's around 34,141, it will be around no man's land. So yeah, so if US30 comes here 34,141, it is likely US30 will break this 200 DMA and break this trend line, because you always want to ask yourself, when is the next higher time frame order block where price can go ahead and retest to? So you can see we can drop all the way to 33,750, 750 area, which is all the way down here. So I wouldn't be surprised if US30 drops all the way down here. But for me, I'm only interested in this 200 pips because my TP is 200 pips. So if US30 drops all the way to 750, or if I start seeing US30 drop heavy all the way down here, I'm not going to chase the sell since I would have already hit TP on this sell. I would just wait for price to get to around 750 and then go ahead and buy US30 for the retracement back to the upside. So right now is mostly just a waiting game for this particular trades. So gold is still dropping. We had created a death cross on the 5-minute, which I hoped would push my trade to TP. Unfortunately, we came back, created a golden cross on the 5-minute. Right now, it looks like we're about to create another death cross on the 5-minute. So for me, I am still still bearish on gold. Actually, let me look at the crosses indicator on gold to see what it has. But the market has just been consolidating since the heavy news yesterday. Yeah, so also on the crosses indicator, you can see the indicators that the EMAs are still far apart from each other, but you can see we are overdue for a death cross. So gold attempted to do a death cross here, but went back up due to news. So we are overdue for a death cross on the 15-minute for gold. Looking at the breakout scanner. Also, another confirmation for a sell on US 30. Look at the breakout scanner. And again, this is on the 15-minute time frame. You can see if we do close right here, let me see if I can reset this. If we do get a closure below here, we will get a sell entry on the breakout scanner for US 30 somewhere here. So I do see us getting that sell entry on the breakout scanner right there. For gold, also, if we do get this closure, a 15-minute candle closure below here, we will be getting another sell entry based off of the breakout scanner somewhere. I mean, of course, you'd have to wait for that sell candle to show, but if we do push down here, we will be getting that. I don't know if there's anything else. So Euro CHF, I don't like taking breakouts for FX pairs, but you can see some of these FX pairs are consolidating. I'm sorry, breaking out. So USD CAD. And if you're going to take breakouts for pairs, maybe take out breakouts for FX pairs. I'm sorry, major pairs. So pairs that have the US dollar as opposed to the minor pairs. So if USD CAD is breaking to the downside, this means the US dollar is dipping, which ideally would mean gold should shoot up. But I am, there's just something about this daily bearish high right here that's making me hold on to that position. But the US dollar definitely is going down. And you'd expect gold to go up, but normally that doesn't always happen. So for me, this daily bearish high is the major reason I'm selling gold. Also knowing that we just have a bunch of sellers right here. So I know these sellers are relying on this daily bearish high. Yeah, so pretty much that's my analysis for today. If you guys want to enter the gold sell with me, feel free. If you guys also want to hop into the US 30 sell with me, feel free. So the red flag on US 30 or where to consider cutting the US 30 trade loose is if we get a closure above these two trend lines. So for example, if US 30 closes above 34,650 on the hourly, because from then on we can start trending up. Gold, red flag is if price closes above 1964, 1965 area. At that point, and this is probably on the 5-minute, on the 1 hour is if we break and close above this trend line to the upside. So ideally a break and close above 1967. That might invalidate this buy, but for me, I will continue holding this sell on gold. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, that will be it for today. No questions. All right, perfect. The other thing I wanted to let you guys know is I think MFF and FTMO removed their time limits. So right now, you guys have unlimited trading days. Time, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so FTMO removed the trading limit. So there's no time limit within which you need to pass the profit target. So literally you can get a challenge and trade it for the whole year. So for both FTMO and MFF. So if I were you guys, I would try to minimize, and I'm guessing if you're here, you've probably done worked with demos a lot. So I would start minimizing the use of demos and then just get a challenge, whether it's a 10K challenge, whether it's a 100K challenge, based on what you can afford. And then, right, remove the 30-day barrier they had, right? Even the 60-day barrier, like I think E8 has like 60 days. So just make a plan and say that if you're still not yet profitable or consistently profitable in trading, right, make a goal and say this year you're just gonna learn, you're gonna take one challenge. It doesn't matter whether it takes you 6 months or the rest of the year or the next 2 months to pass it, but then, right, start preparing your mind such that you'll start reaping the benefits or you'll start withdrawing next year. So what that will do, it will take off the rush in trading, because you can get a challenge today and literally take 4 days for, take 4 trades for the rest of the year. So if the profit target is 8% and you don't have any time limit, just look for 8 trades for the rest of the year that you have like a 90% surety that they're going to hit, and just take them. Pass phase 1. It doesn't matter. Again, phase 2, no time limit. Take your time. And then just stop using demos for now and just take like a challenge you can afford to take or to lose. And then just do challenges from now on, and just because by removing the time limit, it ideally, there's no difference now between this and demo, other than the fact that in a challenge you're paying for the challenge fees. But I would highly encourage you guys to get a challenge and then just be trading it occasionally. So don't look to pass it in like a month or 2 months, but just look to pass it in what, if you're still not yet there consistently profitable. But if you're consistently profitable, it shouldn't matter whether there's a time limit or not, because there are people who can even pass a challenge in 1 day. Any questions from anyone? And again, this is for both MFF and FTMO. I don't think MFF have officially announced it, but if you go to their Discord, you'll see that in their announcements, they talked about unlimited time. So they had planned to make the announcement on Monday, but I think there was a leak somewhere. But they said that the announcement will be released and it's coming. But right now, FTMO is the one that has officially announced that. And I know we do have other prop firms out there that offer unlimited time. But FTMO, for me, there shouldn't be a reason somebody should be starting with other prop firms other than FTMO or MFF, because some other prop firms are known to not pay, or sometimes they have like a consistency rule or something. So if you can pass an FTMO challenge or MFF challenge, like you can literally pass another prop firm company. But first start with FTMO and MFF, and then max those out, and then start looking for other prop firms out there. Any final questions, or anybody who has a question? All right, if not, I will see you guys tomorrow to close out the week. Now, this is again what I want to see on the hourly time frame. We want to see gold staying below this 9 EMA right here. This is what we want to see. So watch out for that, right? We want to see gold staying below this 9 EMA. We want to see gold staying below this trend line. For US 30, we want to see US 30 possibly coming and closing again below the 9 EMA, and again staying below these 2 trend lines, the upside. But other than that, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.